But first, it was hoped that the government job retention scheme would protect businesses and help them keep hold of staff. But the consequences of COVID-19 for some companies has been more than anybody could have imagined. And one of the sectors hit really hard, the travel industry. Cabin crew, pilots, many more facing an uncertain future. We're going to go to Emma Kenny now, the psychologist, because she's worried that we could be heading, Emma, for post-COVID mental health issues. Tell us why.
Oh, I mean, there are so many medics, psychologists, psychiatrists, therapists out there talking about this at the moment because people are going to be traumatised for lots of reasons. Firstly, obviously, we've got the reality of what we've faced, then we've been withdrawn from the people that we love, then we've got to reintegrate and kind of consider the way that we feel about some of those fears. But the bigger thing is that the world's shifted and changed. So, of course, if you've had a job or the whole community of your work colleagues have had a job and then you're not returning to that, the grief process associated with that is going to be absolutely enormous. So on every single level, mental health is being impacted from day one all the way down the line, probably for the next few years. So we're absolutely expecting people to be struggling. I'm hearing about it every single day of the week, getting messages all the time. And obviously, it's so good that this morning are, as ever, highlighting the reality of this because there are so many people affected, particularly in the travel industry.
Well, that's what we're concentrating on this morning. And as you say, you have been aware of a lot of the stories on social media, people reaching out. And we're going to talk now to some of the staff who have been affected by this.
We have changed their names to protect their identity. First of all, from British Airways, let's talk to Sophie. Sophie's worked for the airline for decades. Sophie, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. What is the latest? We said you're working for British Airways. What have you been told? You're currently furloughed. What have you been told about the future?
Well, it's very unclear, actually, and I think that's adding to the mental health issues that we're all facing. Very unclear. We're getting drip-fed quite a lot from the media. I found out about my potential job loss from my news app that went ping on my phone when I was in the garden, and I looked at it and thought, no, that surely not. And then there's just been this sense of absolute pandemonium has ripped through the community because we just don't know what's going to happen to us. We've been told that we will all lose our jobs.
OK, well, you've got to live with that hanging over you. We've got Emma there. We should say Sophie is not this person's real name, and her voice has been disguised as well. So job uncertainty, Sophie's talking about that. It's hanging over her. What would you say to Sophie, Emma?
I mean, the hardest thing there is that you're not hearing from the correct sources. You know, the workplace should be the people informing you, not the media. It's very unfair. And that makes you feel like you can't trust in what's happening around you. So you're not having honesty and transparency. The most important thing to do in these circumstances, and why I'm going to be doing the phone in later, all about people who are worried about losing their jobs, is to remember that you are multifaceted, multi-skilled, multi-dynamic. You have done so many things in your work that you really will be a contender. And I know that's hard when we're talking about mass unemployment, but I promise you all the skills that have led you to this position, they exist still within you. And just remember that. It's hard, you lose your confidence, but it's all there, which is why we're going to be talking about this later on as well.
Can I just ask you, Sophie, you know, what impact is it having on you emotional? Lots of people talking about, you know, not sleeping at night, feeling anxious. How are you around the family? How are you dealing with this uncertainty? Because we gather you have to wait until June the 15th for a letter to be told what's happening. So how is it affecting you right now?
Well, we've been told that June the 15th is when we can expect to be made redundant, all of us. So that's not even the letter at the moment. That's the date. That's the end. So there is an awful underlying anxiety all the time. And you try and keep busy and you try and talk to your friends, and social media has been really helpful. Our crew are an amazing community. We're a family, and we are reaching out to each other and helping people through some really, really tough times. And we don't feel that we deserve to be treated like this after so many years of loyal service. So that's kind of a bit of a kick in the teeth, as well as feeling that we were a bit nervous about being in the virus situation. So that was there. So all of that anxiety is churning all the time. And we're just helping each other. You have to, but we can't see each other. We can't hug our mums. You know,
these are unprecedented times. British Airways are saying we're acting now as we are to protect as many jobs as possible. And they point out, Sophie, and I want to move on to another caller, if you just hang on there, the airline industry is facing the deepest structural change in its history, as well as facing a severely weakened global economy. We are committed to consulting openly with our unions and our people as we prepare for a new future. Let's get an idea of what that new future may be with our second anonymous caller, John, John, I believe you also work for BA.
Yeah, hello there. Good morning. Yeah, I've done 37 years for British Airways. So yeah, a boy and man all the way through.
Well, John, we were pointing out there, the airliner pointed out, unprecedented times for what is going on. Travel industry really hard hit by all of this. Do you have any sympathy for what is going on in the industry?
I think we all understand that there's possible redundancies, but I think our union BASA and Unite, they want to work with our company to make sure that they can mitigate that. I just think that I'm looking at a 50% wage reduction. They want to take away my T's and C's. I just feel I'm being betrayed from them, and as much as I understand them, I just want our BASA and our Unite to work together, and I'm sure they can find different ways rather than redundancy and changing our T's and C's so brutally.
So all in all, how is that making you feel? Explain that to Emma, because she's there to sort of try and make sense of all of this emotion. It must be so difficult for you living with the prospect of that over your head.
You're so right, Eamonn. I mean, sleep is a big problem. Funny enough, I actually get to sleep okay, but I wake up really early, and straight away your mind is straight away thinking about things. Mood swings. I'm noticing that when I can be up because I can be thinking positively about my future, and then before you know it, it crashes so quickly, and then that obviously turns into your money worries. Can I hold on to my house? And even things. I had a terrible argument with my daughter the other day, and it was so out of character. But I think that's just the immense pressure that is on all of us, all of our colleagues, all 40,000 of us, 40,000 BA employees are facing this 15th of June, and none of us know exactly what is going to happen.
Yeah, it's the uncertainty, Emma, as well, isn't it? It's very, very difficult for people to cope with. Is there anything that John, while they're waiting, John and his colleagues could do, you think, to positive things that they can do whilst waiting for what's going to happen, their fate?
I mean, part of what they're doing already, which I see online, is, they're all connecting and supporting each other remotely. So keep on doing that, because at least you feel you've got somebody who understands you. Also, I know that for you, it doesn't just feel like it's a job. This is your family. And there's also a sense underneath it of feeling betrayed. So you've got a heady mix of quite problematic and challenging emotions. So first of all, the way that you responded to your daughter, it's not because you are angry with her at all. It's because you're externalising a very difficult feeling. So when you have those feelings, just try and take some time, breathe through it. Diaphragmatic breathing, even when you wake up in the morning and you're getting those anxiety feelings, box breath, inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4, repeat, gets you back in check. But also, when you have those catastrophising, that cycle where you end up thinking your house has been sold, you're never going to work again, all of those problems, just break the cognition. Tell yourself, you know what? I am multi-skilled, I am capable, I have lots of friends, I am successful, I've built my relationships while I'll be supported. So those big fears are not going to happen because I'll block them and do something constructive. I know that doesn't answer the bigger issues about the fears that you've got and also the sadness and distrust that you've got in your company at the moment, but at least it will protect you to some degree, and keep doing what you're amazing at, all of you at BA. You are supporting each other hugely.
John, Emma's staying on for a phone-in today. And just ahead of that, John, just finally and briefly, Emma mentioned that you guys as cabin crew see yourselves as a family within the industry. Was that right? Is that how you feel? Is there inter-support, or are there people you can rely on and talk to, and people who understand what you're going through?
You're so right, Eamonn. We are a big family, and I fly in a small aircraft, and You know, every day I used to go in, which I haven't been for a long time now. You know, there's so much camaraderie. We are really good at what we do, but we are keeping in contact. You know, WhatsApp groups and stuff like that. And there is hope for us, and you know, we have to have hope. But you know, British Airways has to understand it. It has an absolute amazing loyal workforce. And we want to continue working for them and make them successful. But we're not going to be successful if you fire and rehire us on absolutely meaningful T's and C's. It's just not on. We're very hurt by what British Airways are trying to do to us.
Okay,
Yeah,
hurt
I
but
just
conciliatory.
have-
Thank you very much indeed, John, for all of that, and good luck to you and everyone else.